Okay, guys, so we're here today to get someone, off into their realm after a very long journey. But before I speak, I have a unique opportunity to let a panel of people that helped WMB to get to where they are, and I'll introduce them individually so that you know who they are for those of you guys who are new or just never looked in the wall and not observant in any way, shape, or form, right? So I've been a black belt now for 14 years roughly, and in those 14 years I only have 3 black belts, which means I don't hand them out, right? You have to kind of go out and earn it. Most people at my tenure have 50 or 60 black belts. I'm proud of my own black belts because I've coached them from white to black, right? You don't just walk in with a brown belt and just get one here. It's a really dedicated situation. So immediately to my left, I call him number 2 just because he's my second black belt, right? Number 1 couldn't be here. He's off protecting the border in Arizona somewhere. He's doing pretty big things, But number 2 is here. It's Ernesto, probably our most successful adult competitor, just a relentless dude, a really good spider guard. He learned, a lot, from us growing up. And I'll say us, I'll tell you who the us is in a second. I'll just keep moving through. So Ernesto, that's number 3, right? This is Sonic. Probably the most important figure in WMB history. People still come here to this day. Hey, did Sonic train here? I want to train here too. That's him. With respect to that, he's also on the wall. He's off doing his robotics thing, building robots. I called him the other day. He said to me, hey, I'm back in Miami. I go, what are you going to do here? He goes, what do you think, Jabe? I'm going to build machines. So he does. He's taking over his dad's business and he's building robots to make it more efficient. Dennis, you should really talk to this guy. He can hook you up. Dennis just created a really cool shield for the police and he needs robots. End of story. End of story. Okay? Matthew, one of my brown belts. He's my longest tenured student. I had him when he was 3. His head was the exact same size. Good guy. One of the kids that I actually learn a lot from. When he tells me something, I'm like actually sitting and listening because he understands Jiu-Jitsu very well. I've been teaching him a very long time, and it started out with me teaching him, then all of a sudden he's teaching me, right? That's how it kind of works. And then the word us, what I said was, when I started this academy, I was working a full-time position. Most of you guys don't know, but I have a little bit of degrees, and I worked a corporate job for a long time. I was doing very well there, so I couldn't dedicate as much time as I wanted to here. I was doing about maybe 30 hours a week here, 80 hours a week there, and then Patrick was doing 40 extra hours a week here. By the way, he never took a dime from me, he was doing it for free. So most of these guys that got developed, he was the one that took what I told him and developed them in the summers so that we can go off and compete with all these great tournaments. So without any of the guys up here, WV wouldn't exist really. And again, I wish I could say who was the most important piece, but I really can't do that. Before I get into what I really want to say, I'll let the panel speak a little bit about what's going on, what's happening, what their experiences was here at WMB. If they want to say anything to David with respect to what's going to happen today, and I'll be the last person to talk because I promised him when he was about 13 or 14 that I'm going to tell him something to help him connect the dots, right? And all throughout that time, he's been asking me like, hey, what do you mean by connect the dots? I'm going to tell him what that is today, okay, via story. So we'll figure it out. I'll start over here with number 2, and we'll take it from there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so JB will tell you if you ask him how I started in this gym that I'm a crier, so I'm going to try to keep it short so that I don't make that come true. But I think it's rare that you get to tell your friends like how important they are. And you see, I'm already doing this. But seriously, like I think you can measure black belts by the skills on the mat, and that's why we see like when somebody gets their black belt, like they're good on the mat. But what defines David is like his outstanding character. Like I live 700 miles away, and I feel comfortable that my family is good because David is nearby. So that's it, man. Congrats.
Let's go.
Man, I don't even know what to say, but if there's one person that has been through the ringer, it's been David. He came in when everybody was like good. Already good. Yeah. And he was getting crushed for years. 4 years. Crushed. And he never gave up. Never, ever, ever. He came in every day. He took his beatings. He got better. And he never freaking stopped. And if there's one characteristic that will take you far in life, it's that, man. Just never give up. You really embody that if there's something that's that WMB can be proud of, is that it produces people who never give up. You know.
Matthew?
I want to give a little story of how I met David, right? So we're both 13, 14. I come down. JB's like, "You're first." I'm like, "Okay." I'm usually the gatekeeper. I come over here. So Ernesto talked about how he was a crier. That was me. So one of the different ways how I overcame that was rolling with this tough guy over here. He is the most loud, the most passionate person, and we've had so many different memories, all different battles together. Not only do I see him as a teammate, yeah, we're all teammates. I see him more like a brother. We have this brotherly relationship. It's always a rivalry, batting heads. We may have our ups and downs, but I know I always have him by my side, and he knows if he needs something, I'm bailing on whatever I'm doing. Let's go. Let's do it. I remember one time we're competing at a Miami Open. We're training, doing hard. I was getting messed up in there, crying like a little bitch, but we get over that sometimes. Then I remember he's over there getting yelled at referees. For what? For screaming curse words out before he enters one of the matches. That was his thing. He goes down, he's always down in advantage. Why? Because he's yelling at them just for no reason. He goes over there, your rash guard ain't blue. I was like, I just finished. We're like, here, take mine. So he goes over there, mops up all of them. Okay, and he's just very aggressive. He's very technical. He's in his head a lot sometimes. But just believe in yourself. You know you got it. Just puff out your chest a little bit more. You got it. You know what to do, and no one is more deserving of this belt. You've known for a while. You're ready. Long while. But I said, just keep going at it, and you'll get it. Trust me. Here we go.
Bring up the rear. Patrick, like I said, he's been, with me since the very beginning. He came in doing like rubber guard or something from Eddie Bravo or something like that. And go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it, succinct. I remember, obviously, school has a good competition record, and there was a period from 2010 to 2013 where we had a lot of high-level competitors and an older crew of guys who were really competing a lot. Which is good. You have a really good, tough training environment, and you need that to get better. But there are other factors that are important to the longevity of the school. And one of the things that I was feeling at the time was that a lot of people kind of had a little bit of a mercenary mindset. People were coming in, training for themselves, going out and living a lifestyle that's not conducive to maybe the most healthy lifestyle. And there wasn't a lot of impetus to pass it forward. There was a fundamentals class, which I had started at that time, and there was an advanced class, and there was very little in between. And so, I talked to JB about it, and I really tried to put a lot of time into building a group of guys with good fundamentals who could kind of keep that lineage going and keep the momentum going, because you need, even when you have good brown belts winning, you need good blue belts winning. And out of this whole group of 20 people, David is the only one who's still here. He's the best one. I mean, I since the time that I started, I remember I was 18, and Sonic was 12 or 13, and I was helping, teach him on the off time, and, over the years seeing Sonic pass me. I remember being the young guy on the mat and passing people, and then getting passed by Sonic, and then putting this time in with David, and I remember from day one, his dad was like yelling at him because he didn't want to train during the WMB anniversary party. I thought maybe he was human trafficked. I was like, this is crazy. But ultimately, it wasn't that. It's just he's passionate, and ultimately that dedication has carried him through, and not just to a black belt, because black belt is cool, but it's not like it was 20 years ago. There are a lot of people with black belts, but not only are you the only one from the fundamentals class at that time. Look at the guys upstairs. We got 1, 2. One lives in California, one lives in Georgia. There's one guy. One. That's you. Everyone here, who teaches you? You know what? JB's the main guy, but I know who's on the mat with you. David. He's carrying on the torch. So nothing, as somebody who's like competed a lot, done fairly well, and then been on the other side and had many students surpass them.
Guys, he's a world champion. He did it fairly well.
This really does bring it full circle. Somebody that I saw on day one as a white belt, come up through the ranks, take his beatings, and now, this guy beats me up and everyone else in here. So it just really brings it full circle, and it's the most fulfilling promotion that I've seen. I'm really, really happy to be here. And I just drove 2 hours just because I don't want to miss this. Like, this is
I'll just bring it full circle, and all the stories are really, really true. And Patrick and Sonic, they all mention him just getting wrecked and destroyed. The thing is, I would have rather have this guy as my teammate than him from the beginning. Let me tell you why, right? So he comes in, coach, I'm really good, and he's telling me he's really good. And then he didn't realize what really good looked like at the time, right? It was this guy's, right? But then he got really good really fast. So here's the thing with David, right? I had to slow him down. He was a white belt for 5 years, okay? And he never knew why I slowed him down, but I'm gonna tell him today why I slowed him down. And he's gonna have to apply what I tell him to his life. So I'm not gonna give him the answers, I'm gonna give him the path. Does that make sense? So here's the path. So I used to ride motorcycles. Most of you guys don't know that about me because I'm really mild-mannered and secure. That's what kids do to you. You kind of come up, mellowed out. But I used to ride motorcycles. And I used to ride them because I liked the speed and because it went very fast. Similar to the way he lives his life, right? Everything is high speed, he wants it right now. But on the highway, I remember I got onto Kendall Drive, I hit 152nd, I got onto the turnpike, and what do I see? Nothing but a straightaway, right? I got on the bike, I revved my engine, I saw 120, I saw 130, I saw 145, 170, I got to 185, and I felt great. Make sense? Because the adrenaline of going really, really fast was enticing to me. As I kept going, I realized I can't read any of the signs. It's going way too fast. All I can see is the road. You're in this tunnel like this, and you think you're going really fast and things are going really good, but guess what? You don't know when to get off. You don't know where your exits are. You have no idea where you're going. All you know is that you're going really fast. Does that make sense? He asked me to tell him how to connect the dots, and I'll tell you what you need to do. If you take that same motorcycle with that very fast and passionate engine, that one guy that's from the fundamental class, that guy that's next to his house why he feels comfortable, that big engine that you have, slow it down, right? The way you're gonna make the engine last longer, if you slow it down. Make sense? You can see your signs and know exactly when your exits are, because if you miss that exit, what do you gotta do? The path is longer. Now you gotta make a U-turn, probably get off at 2 exits down to come back again. If you go fast again, you'll miss it a second time. Does that make sense? Don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but you're doing a lot of things, right? All at the same time, not focusing on your signs. You haven't got off at any exit, and you don't know where to get off yet. That's where you connect the dots, my friend. You're going way too fast with too many things, just like I did on my motorcycle. Does that make sense? Again, I can't give you the answer, but that's a good way to start to make sure you can connect the dots properly, because the exits are passing you way too fast, and you just don't know where to get off yet. Does that make sense? Perfect. I'll stop there. I'm not going to give you anything else for now. You'll ask me about it later, I know. But now it's time. We're going to promote David to the rank of black belt. He is now number 4 in the lineage of WMB. I probably have 5 and 6 somewhere in the crowd over here as well. with respect to that, Matthew, Zachy, Patrick, at some point I'm sure they'll do it, and then we'll figure it out from there. But without overstepping any more boundaries or anything like that, I wanted to make sure that I promote him, and then after I promote him, I'd like for his dad to speak if it's okay with you. I know that his dad taught him some judo back in the day. Dad's a black belt in judo as well, and a good inspiration in his life, so we'll figure it out later. But let me just tie the belt on him first, then I'll give him his certificate, and then if anybody else wants anything, we'll take it from there. So, David Pupo, step to the front. Take your belt off, please. And as customary in WMB, we always pass it down. Whoever the person is that would like to do it, we try to make sure that they get the belt of the person that they are either closest to or the person that has taught them the most with respect to life and learning. So. So the trick here is you gotta turn it south. Alright? Once you turn it south, it falls nice.
Let's go!
As he makes his way down the line, I'll ask his dad if he wants to say anything, any words or anything like that. You can go hug your dad. Feel free to do that.
This is your day, man. I knew it'd always get here. I can still remember the days, being 5, 6, 7, running in a circle in a park with 2 gis on, crying with Rocky in the background, and I people would say that was child abuse. Today, I would agree it was child abuse, but it was voluntary, right? Like, I didn't beat him up so that he could do it, right? I didn't say that he wasn't going to have anything if he didn't do this. All I ever said was, that this is for him, for his future, for his life, and he took possession of it, and I'm so proud of you, man.
Now we get to whip him.
He's not a black belt yet. Any colored belts, white belts, you don't get to participate. So any colored belts, just come on this side over here. If you have color on your belt, just come over here.
Lay down, man. Let's go.
So
lay down.
The black belts go first and last. We get 2 picks.
That's a new rule.
It's always been. Black belts get 2 hits.
Turn this.
No.
Alright, black belts get 2 hits. We're just gonna get to the end of the line, and then color belts you get 1 as well. Alright, ready?
Thank you, sir.
I love you.
He's such a good guy. He's a good guy. Let's go.
That's it?
Hey!
Alright, it's your official certificate. That black belt, my signature is on it. And the date's here. So, by the power invested in me by the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation as a 3rd degree black belt there, I now pronounce you a black belt under WMB.
days I wanted to quit. I got called up from my person from Iraq saying you're not going to quit. My dad, you know, just kept me on my path. Did really well there. Went into wrestling, did okay there. But then there was a kind of a change when I got hurt in wrestling, and I was like, let's try something else. And I met Coach JB at a UFC fight, and he kept saying how his guys are this, his guys are that, and I'm like, he doesn't know who I am. I'm pretty good. And I told him I'm pretty good, and he just said, he started laughing a little bit. He's like, okay, come in. So I came in, my first roll, you know, Matt, he gave me some hell, and from Matt I knew, okay, something's up, you know. And then I rolled a few more people, and I was like feeling okay at one point, and then he said Sonic. I was like, why is an animated character coming downstairs? And Sonic came in. He looked at me and he kind of smiled. And JB's like, hey, do that judo thing you like to do. And I grabbed Sonic and I threw him. I thought, right? So as I throw him, Sonic's in the air, and as I'm throwing him, Sonic's arm barring me while he's in the air. And then as he lands, my arm's about to break. I have to tap. And I just look at the guy like, how the hell did you do that? And JB's like, hey, you gotta start training him. And since that day, like they said, man, I was getting smashed by all these guys, man. You know, there's Ernesto. The first time I really talked to Ernesto was I elbowed him in the mouth, broke his lip open. He's bleeding everywhere. I said, yo, let's stop training. He's like, no, let's keep training. You know, what you got scared about? And, choked me out a little bit. And Pat. I mean, when I first came in, days that I didn't want to train, you're there. Pat never told me to pay him. Pat never asked me. He would always have practices on Saturdays and Sundays. I didn't pay nothing. Pat's like, hey, come in and train. 20 people were there. I'm the only one showing up, and it was a big thing for you to do that for me, Pat. And with JB, I mean, listen, there's a lot of gyms that I've been to, and a lot of places that I've been in regards to judo, wrestling, wherever. But when I say the most technically sound individual I've ever come across is Coach JB, and it wouldn't be I wouldn't be here without him. So everyone I rode with, everyone that I've trained with has been a part of this journey, and I got love for everybody, man. Thank you so much, host. Let's train now, you know what I mean? Let's train. Let's go. You don't believe? We're going on another round.
Y'all are wild.
I like that. Hey. Stand on the dresser with me. Yeah. Give it to me! There it is.
Congrats, bro.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
You're so fit. Huge trophy.
Everyone's black belt with each other, man.
Yes, sir. Long overdue.
Long overdue.